Greetings, scholars. As I, David, your mind mechanic. So I saw on the news this morning that Selena Gomez had, I guess, had been admitted to a hospital for some mental health issues. I don't know Selena. Never met her. Want to wish her well. Hope she gets the help she needs and gets in a better spot. Now, why am I talking about this? I think it was yesterday, day before, there was a Mental Health Awareness Day. And something that just sort of struck me this morning as I was getting on social media and looking at the news was that just all the support that they're sending her way, right? And which is good. I don't have an issue with that. But it just sort of reminded me about stigma in mental health and how that's still an issue. There's still a lot of stigma associated with that, and I applaud her for being, public enough about it. She doesn't have to give us all the details, but just, I applaud her for, being able to, say, hey, I've got issues too, and all that. But it reminds me of the stigma that we're still fighting with it. And so I want to talk a little bit about the stigma and those issues. I find it interesting and this is in no particular order, but I find it interesting on a number of levels. One is, if we just made a public announcement that some stranger, someone that you don't know, so John Smith from, I don't know, Humansville, Missouri, which is an actual town, but, he was just admitted to the hospital for depression and anxiety. And let's say he had social media accounts. Would we be sending him all the well wishes? I don't know. That we sent Selena. I don't know. I'd like to think we might. And there's a question there of. There's a question of, like, would that help the person anyway? Do they care? I don't know. Does Selena Gomez care about all the well wishes and the support? Beats the heck out of me. Never met her. Don't talk to her. Would John Smith from Humansville, would he appreciate the support? I don't know. But, is there is there a scenario where we would care, where it would matter to us? I find it interesting that, a lot of the, not all, but a lot of responses to someone that's out in public that's losing their marbles is to run away from them. Like, and there's some risk in approaching someone that's out of their head anyway, and I respect that. I get that. And I'm not saying there's like, this is the best comparison, someone gets shot and they're bleeding to death on the sidewalk and there's people around, someone's usually going to stop. I guess the question is, yes, it's different. A bullet wound into the, bullet entering the body and shredding organs is a bit different than having a meltdown. I get that. But how different is it? I know it's different in the sense of we're talking about something that's guaranteed to kill us if we don't treat it like right now. A lot of mental health stuff is just more of if we don't treat it at some point, it may, bite us in the butt. Low mortality, though, by comparison. Again, I get that. I think I'm just thinking out loud here in regards to, how do we prevent mental health outcomes? We can't prevent everything, like in terms of bad mental health outcomes. We can't prevent everything. I think maybe we could aim to reduce and get things a little better, but we can't prevent it all. But some prevention can be done. And what can we do? How do we do that? Something that's just been on my mind for a while is that of, how much community do we actually have going on right now in the world? Again, it's that idea of If we just said John Smith from, you know, Podunk City, Iowa, you know, or in the Bronx, or whatever, hey, they're having a hard time. Maybe you should send them a message, a positive message. I don't know. I just wonder. I don't know that it would be bad as long as nobody's saying anything negative. Would it be bad? I don't know. I don't think it would be. I also had this other idea of, um, I just haven't done it yet. I may. Um, you know, being in the community, like as a professional, me getting in the community, and what would it be like if I went and um, I started speaking to people. What do I mean by that? What if I just started walking around all the local businesses here? Um, Maybe make some different business cards for this, but just walk in, introduce myself, whether it's to the store owner, the manager, the employees. Doesn't matter. Just walk in and hand them a card and say, "Hey, I'm David. This is what I do for a living. Do you need anything? I'm a member of the community here, the business community. Do you need anything? What can I do for you?" I imagine no, like you're not going to have many takers. I imagine you're going to have a lot of people that, like, well, I don't know. I don't. What are you offering? I'm like, well, I don't know. What do you need? Um, but I imagine there'd be a lot of people that probably wouldn't. They'd probably just say, "Oh, I don't know that I need anything." But what I leave them with is, look, I don't know what I could do if you were in need of something, but this is what I do for a living. If you ever have a need a referral, I don't know, you have a question, send me a message, leave me a message, call me. We'll see what could happen. And this isn't a tactic to get business. I'm busy enough. This is just, I'm looking for ways to positively affect the community. Um, because a lot of times, and this isn't, the old curmudgeon here saying, oh, you know, technology and social media apps on, the platforms that are on top of the internet, that it's all bad. I don't think it's all bad. I think there's growing pains. I think it has created some distance. Um, we may have gotten a little disconnected in community. Um, Another thought I had is, what would it be like if I just called on old patients just to see how they are? I know some people think that maybe that's weird, but is it? I cared enough about them to sit with them in the middle of all their stuff, try and help them. I mean, what would be the bad thing? And I mean, I could dream up some scenarios that might be weird or awkward for the person, um, but trying something, I think. You know, I don't know that it could be said 100% that trying something's better than trying nothing. Because if you try the wrong thing, you don't want to make things worse. But if there's low risk, if there's low negatives, I mean, why not try it? No, just my thoughts for today. Um, Again, I just, there's going to be suffering in the world. It's inevitable. How we deal with it, though, we don't have to make it worse for ourselves. Um, Especially like, people hear things like, oh, Selena Gomez is in the hospital. Well, what's she got to be been out of shape about? I mean, the problem with mental health is that, like a lot of other, we think that what's in here is divided and separate from the rest of our body, which is not accurate at all. And people would think, well, someone like Selena Gomez, what's she got going on that she's depressed about or anxious about? I don't know. I know that she had a kidney transplant. That's not an easy thing to deal with in general. Faced with your own mortality in your early 20s. Um, that's a heck of a thing. I think, there's a lot of things, but I've met people that they, by all accounts, all angles, they don't really have a lot to be depressed or anxious about, and yet they are. And is that lack of meaning in life? Is that, I don't know, is that ignoring reality and they're getting distressed? I mean, that'll do it to you, but I mean, what's the deal? Um, there's a lot of reasons that people get depressed. There's a lot of reasons that don't have any real meaning other than, sometimes people just get depressed because they get depressed. I know people don't like hearing that, but sometimes that's a reality. It's not so much the chemical imbalance idea. It's just, sometimes people appear to get depressed and there's not a clear cause. Not going to rant about, all the long list of causes and things, all the etiologies, but I don't know. Again, this is just stuff to think about. These are things that I'm always thinking about. Thought I would share. I think, my end thing here is let's try and, as always, like try and love people. Try and be sympathetic and empathetic, compassionate, understanding, and help a person out, even if it's just some words, some positive words. To a stranger, get on social media, search, get on Twitter. This is an experiment you could do. I'm calling you all out in a way. It's a good way. It's a good thing. Get on social media. Get on Twitter in particular. And Twitter or Facebook. But Twitter is easy to do this. Just type in the word depressed or suicidal or suicide. Like, type those words in. Search for current tweets where someone says they're depressed. Try and give them a word of encouragement. Or, just say something like, look, I don't know you, but as a human being, I love you, and I hope your day goes better. People say, oh, that'll just make it worse. That's the last thing I want to hear. Well, let me just tell you something, scholars. People that are in a really bad spot, you doing that isn't going to make them, go through with killing themselves. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Not going to happen. It might look like that to some people, to outsiders. Well, what do you lose by trying to be positive towards someone? I think most people, do you want to watch people die unnecessarily? Nobody likes that. Do you want to watch people be depressed? Maybe they have some legitimate things, and I realize you may be opening Pandora's box up by messaging some stranger. You know what a lot of my job is developing a therapeutic relationship and listening. That's what a majority of my job is. There's more to it than that, but that's a lot of it. That's probably the most important part. So, I don't know. Stuff to think about. Give it a go. You might be surprised. You could save a life. I don't know. I'd rather do something that really didn't have any risk or negatives and not succeed than to do nothing and have bad things happen. So, food for thought today, scholars. Give it a go, and if you do give something a try, let me know. So, we'll see you next time.